Hi everyone, it's Elisa with LA Woman Tours. Southern California is home to some of the best examples of architecture out there. We have Spanish Colonial Revival, Tudor, Craftsman, Googie, Storybook, Mid-Century Modern, everything. But there's another style of architecture that is absolutely everywhere and frequently overlooked. You've seen it, but probably didn't know what it's called. We are talking about Dingbat apartments. That's right, Dingbat. They're the stucco apartments that practically blanketed Southern California during the 1950s and 1960s. They get their name because many of the buildings had kitschy fonts on the front spelling out names like the Pink Flamingo or the Tiki. No one knows where the term originally came from, but architecture historian Rainer Banham popularized it in the 1970s. People often look down on Dingbat apartments and call them names like ugly, cheap, cookie cutter, or formulaic. But I love Dingbats because they're such an integral part of our region's history. They were also popular in places like Nevada, Florida, Arizona, and Hawaii. Really, they are all over the place. Here in California, the population boomed after World War II. Aging structures, often older single-family homes or duplexes, gave way to apartment buildings as a way of accommodating the influx of people. Land was becoming increasingly valuable, so the idea was to eliminate lower-density properties in favor of fitting more people onto what were once lots for single-family houses or smaller apartment buildings. In some neighborhoods, you can still see the dingbats sitting next to the houses they overtook. Because they went up so quickly and in such great numbers, they sometimes lack the craftsmanship seen in buildings from the first half of the 20th century. But that doesn't mean they don't have value or tell a story. Here are some style elements that are representative of the dingbat: straight lines and simplicity. More complicated, curvy, or architecturally creative buildings would drive up prices, so dingbats use simple structures to keep construction costs down. In turn, these apartments were typically affordable for middle-class income folks to rent. Short, square structures. Generally, dingbat apartments were 2- or 3-story boxy buildings. Each unit had its own door that opened to the outside to give the feel of single residence living, more like a house, instead of one door on the front of a building. Typically, the square structure faced the street, and the doors opened up on the building's side. Some buildings even open up onto a courtyard. If apartments had balconies, they were usually square and stayed within the overall straight-lined motif. Carports and garages. The 1950s and 1960s were the era of America's car culture, and dingbats offered something many of its predecessors did not: carports and garages. The first level was usually devoted to cars and could even fit the larger vehicles of the day. Ornamental touches in the front. Some, but not all, dingbats have decorative elements on the front that were popular at the time, such as tiki, starbursts, carriage lamps, tiles, rock. There were all kinds of things. These elements, along with the script that announced the building's name, try to create a fantasy feel to the building, but that doesn't mean every dingbat has these features. Some of them are completely plain. Today, you'll find some people singing the praises of dingbat apartments and others making fun or ridiculing them. To be fair, while some of them have been lovingly maintained, many have aged poorly. And what a shame, because they can be great. But however you want to look at them, here's the thing: dingbat apartments actually worked. They were a terrific option for all types of people and families. They offered something for everyone: the newly arrived out-of-towner, the family, the first apartment, the commuter, the middle class. They offered nice amenities at affordable prices. Today, we've seen a huge resurgence of mid-century modern aesthetics, and dingbats are a part of that heritage. Maybe a less glamorous cousin to what we think of as mid-century modern, but an important part of that heritage nonetheless. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.